My name is Finn Hopson. I'm a landscape photographer and a gallery owner. Day to day, I split my time between being out on the hills on the South Downs around Brighton and in the sea taking photographs. And then I spend half of my time back in the gallery making prints, talking to customers, selling pictures, making new things, and kind of running the business. I use all sorts of different skills every day. Obviously I use photography skills. I have to be able to take a picture. But far more important than that are the skills around talking to people and running the business. I can take great pictures, and if they don't go no further than my camera, then there's no point in any of it. I have to be able to chat to customers. I have to be curious about what they're interested in. I have to listen to what they think about the work. And I have to have all sorts of skills around the minutiae of running a business. I've had to learn all of those as I go along. So I have to know about accounting. I have to know about how to make a profit. I think this job really suits someone who's self-motivated. You have to have a bit of kind of get up and go in the morning. You're in charge of everything pretty much on your own. If you want to go out and take a picture, you've got to get out and take a picture. If you want to come down and sell it to someone, you've got to be there to do it. No one's going to kind of come along and do this stuff for you. So I've had to really kind of push myself to just keep going, even when it doesn't feel like it's going very well. The very best thing about doing what I do is that I get to make money doing what I love. I love being outside. I love taking photographs. I love spending time in the sea, and I get to do all of those things. And when the business is running well, I get to make a living from doing that. That is one of the most satisfying things I've ever found. I don't have to work for anyone else. I'm my own boss. I'm quite hard on myself as my own boss, but it's been really, really fun. The most challenging part of the job is to keep going. The most challenging thing is to just keep working and working and working, even when it feels really, really difficult, and to keep coming down to the beach when it's really rainy and no one wants to buy any of my things, or to keep pushing myself to make new work and find original ideas. You don't need a degree to do this. You don't really need any qualifications. No one's going to check that you've qualified to do any of this stuff. But there are loads of skills you can pick up along the way which you can get qualifications in. You don't need a photography degree, but it's really helpful if you want to go and get one. I know lots of photographers who've gone on to do degrees and master's work after they've begun being a photographer, just to kind of develop the way they think about photography. But at a more practical level, it's really useful to pick up some computer skills. Adobe, for example, run lots of little training courses. You can learn how to use software, if you can learn how to print your own work. It's a horrible learning curve, but it's a fantastic skill to have. If you can make an artifact from your art, then you're well ahead of the game, because so much photography ends up on computers and on screens and never goes any further. Craft skills are really handy. Can you slice things up? Can you neatly line up mounts on tops of pictures? Can you glue things together? Most basic level as well, some basic accounting skills, basic understanding of bookkeeping is something that I wish I had more qualifications in, but would have been really, really helpful from the beginning. In terms of salary, the sky's the limit. There are lots of photographers who make a lot of money, but most photographers probably won't make all that much money. I think when you're starting out particularly, it can be really hard to do it as a full-time job. Lots of people have to start off making a few £1,000s a year, selling some work at art fairs or selling some work through open houses, just testing the market and getting some work out there and seeing what you can make. And it's often supplemented by another job. Those other jobs can come in the form of working as an assistant for other photographers, working in studios, working in print labs, even working in shops, learning about retail and selling and things like that. So it's not that it's a job that's going to make you lots of money immediately, but there is loads of potential to make a surprisingly large amount of money at times, but it can be a very uneven flow of money as well. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really bad. I think the biggest barrier I've encountered was not believing that I could really do this for a living. There were lots of times where I felt like if I could just take the risk and put some stuff out there, then it would probably be okay, but I didn't quite believe enough. Especially when I was younger, I didn't really feel like this was a legitimate job. So I kept going down slightly different routes and trying to find sort of proper jobs that were related and had some maybe photography element or some film element, but were still largely kind of based in larger agencies and offices. And actually I wished that I had gone a little bit earlier and said I can do this on my own. So the biggest barrier I think all the time is my own head saying, you're not good enough, you can't do this. And I wish I could get past that more often. If I could speak to my 15-year-old self, or any young person out there trying to do this, if you want to be a photographer, take a lot of photographs. Just keep taking photographs and show people your work and show people your best work. Be really ruthless. Edit your work down to what you really think is the best and show them the best stuff. And then spend your time looking at things like YouTube and on the web and just trying to find little bits of tutorials and resources to just develop your own interests. Surround yourself with photography. There's never been an easier time to find all the photography in the world and be inspired by lots of different people, and then try and work out what it is within that interests you.